Hi folks, in this video we are going to take a web address. I have it's not Raspberry Pi Ninja. I already used that in a different video, but I just got another one to his Raspberry Pi.training. I was going to get Raspberry Pi.school. It's available and I like my students, but not $30 worth. So training was $6 for the first year, so I grabbed that. The Raspberry Pi Ninja was $6 too, which is kind of cool. So what are we going to do? I'm going to move the name servers for Namecheap to Cloudflare. They're going to point Cloudflare at our IP. Now we're not going to have to do that manually. And when I say IP, my local public IP for my home network. We're not going to have to do it manually. I'll show you guys how to do that. And then we're going to have a Raspberry Pi. On that Raspberry Pi, we're going to install Docker and a Portainer container. I like saying that. I don't know why. We'll also have the Cloudflare DNS container. What this is going to do is it's going to keep Cloudflare updated with whatever our local IP address is, right? Our public IP address for our home network. Mine is in fact dynamic. It changes. If yours is static, you really wouldn't need this. You know, my IP didn't change for years, and then all of a sudden recently it's started changing a lot. So this is handy. That way you're always pointing at your web address is always pointing at your home network. And then we're gonna add Nginx, and Nginx is going to work as a reverse proxy, right? A proxy server basically defends folks from the internet, and a reverse proxy defends your service from the internet. And it does a lot of other things, load balancing and all that kind of fun stuff. We're just going to use it to proxy the incoming calls. So whatever it is, it could be a subdomain, it could be multiple different domains that are coming in, and then we're going to proxy them to whatever server we want. And for us, we're going to proxy to a Raspberry Pi server. And I didn't put Node and Express and all that stuff on this one. All I did was put Docker on it. And I'll put an app. And the app that I'm going to put is this actual app. So if you guys wanted to, you could grab this app. To run it locally would be here. To run it as a container would be here. But I also have it up on Docker Hub, so you don't have to do anything. I'll show you how to do that in a second. And that's about it, right? So I'm going to do it in one video. So hopefully we get through it pretty quickly. I know I've sent a lot of you multiple different videos to get through it, and it's kind of a pain in the butt. So hopefully this makes it a little bit easier for you, and anyone that obviously else that might be watching this that isn't a student. Okay, so let's take a look quick first at what I have for a setup here. So this is kind of interesting. I just put the Pi 400 and a Pi 3 just to show that it really doesn't matter. I've got Docker and Node running on all four of these different Pis, right? So I've got a Pi 4 with a solid state drive. I've got a Pi 0 with a 16 gig micro SD card. I've got a Pi 4, I'm in a Pi 3 with some micro SD card on it. And then the Pi 0 has a Pi 4 inside of it. I mean the Pi 400 has a Pi 4 inside of it. But we're not going to use that, or we're not going to use this. So we just get rid of these. And we're going to use these two. All right, cool. So we're going to put, we'll install everything here. I already have Docker and Portainer installed on this one. But we'll go through the process and install everything, and then Nginx Proxy Manager here. And then again, this is going to proxy any incoming request to any number of external devices that you had on your network, which is kind of cool. Okay, so let's get rid of that. And let's a little explanation about the code that's here. It's code that we've done before in class, and there's other repositories on it. So you don't have to worry too much about that. But if you want to read up a little bit on it, you can. Folks, so this is here's the Raspberry Pi 0, and again, this is going to work. We're going to be proxying incoming calls right through our Nginx server to this Pi. So we'll put the app on when I get there in a minute. But let's just go through and get this one all set up. So I already did the update and the upgrade just to make this as quick as possible. So let's go through and start putting Docker on. And again, folks, these are the exact same instructions that I use to get everything on the Pi Zero. And by the way, you want to see something horrible? I have one of the original Pi Zeros when you could get $5 for one without Wi-Fi and $10 for one with Wi-Fi. I got mine for $10. Here you go. Here's a kit with a case and everything else. $169. Here's one for 74. Just insane. Just a board. Now these people are just thieves, but unbelievable. And you know, the Pi, we just bought Pi 4s for class. And the Pi 4 kits that we got, even those were, I mean, just insane. Like $170 for a decent kit with power supply and SD card and case and all that fun stuff. But it's crazy. I mean, I assume at some point these prices are going to come down. But all right, so I wouldn't run out and buy a Pi Zero at this point. If you're going to spend that kind of money, get a Pi 4 instead. Okay, so let's go through the steps. Let's get Docker. Now, folks, this works fine if you're using Ubuntu also, right? So, boomy. Let's come over here quick, and if you chose to. So what I'm running on both of these, so on the Pi Zero and on the right here. And on the Pi 4 is Debian, the Bullseye without a desktop. But you could also, and this works absolutely fine if you went to other general purpose, right? Ubuntu if you wanted to, and came down, and you could be running this. Now you could have the desktop version too. I'm just not using it for this purpose, but it works fine on Ubuntu Server 22. And for my home network, that's what I have running on my Pis, right? So. Now, my point of saying that is, if you do use Ubuntu instead, use this link. So go through and choose Ubuntu, and then just go through the steps. And you can install a local repository and a whole bunch of cool stuff you can't do if you're using the Debian version, right? The Raspberry Pi Bullseye version. So we're going to for Raspberry Pi Bullseye, we're just going to use these steps here. And again, I've already done these steps on this one. So. And by the way, so this is going to actually go and get that script. Install the script. This just went and got it. Unbelievable, right? So I've got a Pi 4 with a terabyte solid state drive, and then a Pi Zero with a 16 gig micro SD card. And the speed difference is just unbelievable. It took a long time, and obviously I'm running on Wi-Fi with the Pi Zero, and I've got connected via Ethernet with the Nginx with the Pi 4. We're going to put Nginx on, but it was extremely slow to go through these steps. Relatively quick. I mean, it's still a little bit of a process, but not bad. If I find that the video, I'll do a quick edit for you. But you can see that was pretty darn quick. All right, now you should add a Docker group. The other thing too is you probably want to create a user other than Pi. You know that. Lock down that Pi user, and then give the new user the necessary sudo and admin permissions, and do all this as a user instead. But it's fine just for this purpose. So it's going to tell us we already have that Docker group, and then we're going to add the current user. So for us, that would be me. That would be Pi. Hopefully for you, it's something else that you created. And now you might not have to reboot. Right? Probably don't have to. So I say reboot, but let's just test. Right? Let's see if Docker is installed, and we can try to run the whole Hello World container. And you can see, so you want to know the funny thing? I just did this on the Pi Zero, and it automatically started up the daemon for me, and it's not doing it here. So let's just do sudo. Just do a quick. Oop, not, but now. Oh, there you go. It closed it anyway because it just didn't know what to do with that with the not. All right. So let's let's go ahead and you notice that instead of trying to look up the IP addresses, I've just logged in via the names. Right. So if I SSH for this one, it would just be pi@. So the user, unless you created a new user, pi name and then .local. Now, if you're not using the name, it's just pi@ and then 192.168 blah blah blah. Right. Whatever it happens to be. And if you're doing this on a Mac or a Linux machine, you got to put sudo in front of the SSH, and it'll probably ask you for your Linux or your Mac password first, and then your Pi password. And Raspberry Pi. Cool. Okay, so now we should be able to do Docker run. Ooh. And it'll go down, it'll grab that image, and it'll pull it and then run it for us, and it'll tell us that it executed, right? Hello from Docker. And we could check that. Right. PS TAC A. Ooh, TAC A. Come on. And you can see we grabbed that. Now, we're going to install Portainer here in a second. We don't have to. There's no reason to, other than it gives you a GUI to manage Docker, which is kind of nice in some ways. And we'll install it. You don't have to. If you don't want to, you could just skip by this this part. But and then we'll get rid of this image. We don't need that image anymore. We could just do here. We could say Docker RMI and get rid of the image here. But let's use Portainer. All right. So I'm going to scroll down here and right here. Right. So Docker RMI if you want to get rid of it. But we'll do it in Portainer. All right. So let's go ahead and create volumes here. And again, I even have Portainer running. I've got it right here. This is Portainer running on the Pi Zero. It's pretty cool. Okay, so that's good, and now let's come here and let's get Portainer running here. It's going to find the image. Blah, blah, blah. Can't believe my pup has been so quiet. Usually he's mouthing about something. All right, so let's go ahead and log in. And again, we're already logged in here, but we're going to do the Pi Nginx now. So let's just come over here and let's say pi x.local. Oops, local local 9443. Cool. And I'm going to walk on the wild side. We're going to accept the risk. And I've got, you need 12 characters. So I'm just going to copy and paste so I don't forget, because I've got everything running on so many here. We'll confirm it. And we'll create a user. I'll just leave it as admin. Fantastic. All right, so now this is Portainer managing our Docker containers on the Pi we're going to put Nginx on. Right, it's going to listen for incoming requests from Cloudflare, and then on one of the the remote Pis, we also have it, and that's that one over here. Okay, so okay, we'll need that in a second. Maybe we'll put the two Portainers together over here, and let's go back. Let's come back here. Folks, you may, if you don't create your, once you get there, if you don't log in quick enough and create a user, you'll have to restart your container, or you could do Docker stop and then Docker start, or just restart to restart Portainer. Okay, so let's install. You could install Docker TAC Compose, the engine. I'm just going to use the plugin here, and it's relatively the same. But oops, I wanted to do the update up here. Doesn't really matter. Not going to hurt anything to do one down here. It's just going to be slower. You can see, right? I'm already blazingly through up here, and this one's still chugging along. Let's see here. Okay, so let's go get it. And we can just check the version. Should be 2.14. There we go. Cool. And now finally we can get the Nginx Proxy Manager. And we're going to use Docker Compose to do this instead of just like a Docker file or something like that. So, folks, this is right from the web link for Proxy Manager, but for one change. And I've changed to Yoba Systems, so we're running a ARM version of the database, right, that the Nginx Proxy Manager will use. Any place there's NPM, you should put in your own name or own passwords. I'm just going to leave it like this. Okay, so let's grab this. Oh, let's open up Nano. You can use Vim or something if you prefer. And let's go ahead and paste that in. Control X, Y for yes. Oops, I put it in the wrong spot. Oh, that's funny. I didn't need it down here. All right, so let's do that. Let's grab this one. And let's pop that in there, and again, Control X, and then yes, and then we just got to do a Docker up, right? And again, if you installed the Docker engine, it would be Docker tac, right? But here, and right, this will actually pull, right, the Yoba systems. It'll pull the Proxy Manager, everything, and then it'll run it. The only thing is, it's not running in disconnected mode, so I should have changed that, but. So when it's all said and done, it's going to start the it'll start the database. It'll start Nginx Proxy Manager, and then you'll still be bound to this terminal, right? Because you're not in detached mode. That's all right. You can just kill it, but you'd have to restart your your containers. Right. Again, this is relatively quick here. Come on. And let's see if we go to, this is the one right here. So if we just kind of come over here and go to our containers. Right? So here's that hello world one. Right? So we can just get rid of it. So let's come up here and just choose remove, and we'll remove that. And voila, you can see we now have the database. And we have Nginx Proxy Manager running, right? Again, we're bound to the terminal, though. TAC-D would be able to do it in disconnected mode. So if I do Control-C, I can get out of here, but you'll notice it's going to kill my containers. I could do Docker start my containers up, or we've got Portainer. Let's use that. It's just not showing stop, but if we refresh, it will. So we can grab both of these, and we can start them up. Fantastic. Come over here, just... Docker PS, you can see you've got all of that running now. All right, that's very cool. Now, here's the thing. At this point, I'm going to go and grab, right, this repository. So this repository that I've created, it's nothing, too exciting here, but it's the database is just a JSON file. Right? You could open up db.js, and you could point to anything you wanted, right? Local Mongo or API for a cloud-based database or something if you wanted to. It wasn't the point of this though, right? So you could just run this right all on the same Pi. I'm going to put it on the remote Pi 0 just to make it a little bit more fun. But if you only have a single Pi, you could do all of this on the Pi. So at this point, although I'm going to run this on I'm going to run this on the remote Pi 0. You could just do it right on the same Pi that you're working on, so it could all be on one. All right, so I'm going to grab that. I'm going to go to the Pi 0, right? Not where I put my. And again, this does have Docker installed on it. At a minimum, you need Docker. You don't need Portainer and all of Docker Compose or any of that stuff. And you could even just have, if you don't want to do Docker, you could just have Node, right? Or Python if you want to run a Python server or something, or Java. It doesn't really matter is the idea here. But let's go ahead and grab this. And be a little bit slow. Shouldn't be horrible though. We can, and then we just got to, we'll just run it, right? External port is going to be 4000. The internal port inside of the container is 4000. It's not very creative. I have it set up to restart unless stopped. For some reason you didn't do that. You could do it after the fact, or you could go inside of Portainer and do it. Right? Remember that the idea with Portainer is to manage your containers. Cool. So it wasn't too bad considering it's on a little teeny Raspberry Pi, and It's over Wi-Fi. I say that, and of course it would have been done really, really quick up here. I bet you we could still beat it if we put it up here. Watch this. Well, yeah, that's all right. I guess, yeah, let's pull it down. See how long it takes. It's still going to beat it. Watch. We'll run it up there. I'll run it. And again, you could just do it here, right? So I guess that's probably good that I did this. If you want to then do your Docker run, this one's already done. This one's still chugging along. All right, let's come back to it. All right, so now what we need is we need the Cloudflare DNS, and again, that has to be on the Pi that has Nginx installed on it, because what it's going to do is, if your IP changes, it will update Cloudflare so that your domain is still pointing at your public IP of your network. So a couple of things we have to do. Folks, you don't have to use Cloudflare for this. It's totally up to you. There's plenty of other DNS services out there, but I'm just using Cloudflare and I like them. I'm going to do a second video to this on using tunnels instead, which is pretty cool. All right, so let's do this. Most of this is here in a web link. You'll have to create a free account. So go through, create a free Cloudflare account. And the first thing you're going to have to do regardless is you're going to have to move the name service, right? So I'm going to have to point the name service. I happen to use, right, Namecheap, but it could be anything, GoDaddy or whatever. But I'm going to have to point the name servers there. So what I'm going to do is, inside of Cloudflare, I need to add a website. And it's going to be, right, this site, right, raspberrypi.training that I got. I got it for $6, but it renews at $30. So we won't be renewing this. All right. I've got lots of domains. I might have a problem. I'm not sure. And we just want free. Let's see here. I don't remember. Yeah, I guess. Okay. So we want want free. And then it's going to scan your DNS records, so that is correct. Cool. Okay, I need to stop the video right here, and then I'll come back and we'll start right back from here, and I'll splice it all together like I never had to leave. Well, probably not that great, but I will be back in a minute, and hopefully I'll kind of remember where I was. Okay, folks, I am back. My wife's heading out in a few minutes, and I started up her truck for her. It's chilly out there. Let's see. All right, so let's come down. It worked out great. So they found the site. So we'll continue. And now what they're going to tell us to do is remove these name servers and add these name servers. You don't really even have to remove anything. It might be different for GoDaddy or someplace else, but Google has a domain service now too, right? But anyway, so all we need to do is just add these name servers over for me at Namecheap. So I'll start with this one. And we'll come over and I'll find manage. There we go. Very cool. All right, so I'm going to come down to name servers and custom DNS. And we'll paste in that first one. And let's go grab the second. Paste that in. And that's it. Oh, you got a tick right here. That's where you save it. Those ticks always get me. Cool. And that's all. We don't need. I don't think we need Namecheap anymore. So we're good. All right. So we can get rid of that. If we go to Portainer, right? Everything's running there fine. So we're good there. Okay. So let's scroll down. Where were we? Oh, that's right. We were pulling down my we were here and we were pulling down my server. And again, it's the one that's right here. And you could have just done this all on the same Pi. Let's test it. So it should be running on 4000. So it's going to be Raspberry Pi 0 .local :4000. 4000. Oh, did I? I didn't run it. My bad. Here, hold on. La la la. We do need to run it. Oh, we were just pulling it. So let's give it a run now. Fantastic. Yeah, it's kind of cool, right? This is this has to pull down that image with Node and everything else that we need to run this Node image inside of a container. Okay, folks, if I had just taken a second to read, I'd realize I was kind of being a dummy here. So the ARM chip on the Pi 0 is different, obviously, than the ARM chip on the Pi 4, where I originally created the image. Right, it's not running. I ran the Docker container, but it was actually not doing anything. So that's why I was having the issue. So what could you do? Well, if you wanted it to be on a Pi 0, you could just clone, right? So clone this repository right here, and then just run this. And what you would end up making is you'd make your own image, and it would be an image for that ARM6 version, and then you could run the container. You want to try it? Yeah, let's try it. Why not? So we're here. I just thought I just copied it. Let's try it again. There we go. npm install. You just do I, right? Git. Oh, I don't have npm install on here, so and I want sudo apt git. I didn't want to npm install it anyway. I was in Node brain. I really wish I had good editing skills. Well, I guess I could. I just don't have the desire to make this pretty, but it won't be. You'll get the point, though. Come on. But remember, containers share the underlying kernel, right? So those kernels have to match up. Unlike virtual machines, where you can spin up a Windows virtual machine on a Linux box. Okay, so git clone, and we can pop that in. Cool. All right, so let's cd in there. Let's open up our web page back up. Oh no, not VS Code, but our web page. Cool. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and build it. Come on. Oop, I didn't need multiple versions. A little impatient. 3 of them. Oh, we need the dot back. This line is just going to tell us that we confirm that we built that image. We're going to walk on the wild side and skip it and go right to run. Again, hopefully I modify some of this for you. If not, do a lot of fast forwarding. This is what it takes, though, right? You guys know that. Got to be persistent, and then someone pays you a lot of money to be persistent, which is cool because most people are not. Tenacity is much better than brains, right? I prove that every day. Come on. Could have just gone up here and done the whole thing. We would have been done the video. Oh well. What can you do? Do. Come on. Getting there. Should have the Jeopardy soundtrack playing in the background, right? Oh, la 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 la. Wish I had something witty to say, but I don't. Wish I had a snack. I could have a snack while I'm waiting. Notice I have restart. Oops. Notice I put a restart in this line. Actually, we can run this up here if we want while we're waiting. We pulled it, didn't we? Yeah, we did. We'll come back to this one. So this would be this one would be what Raspberry Pi. Pi and oh no, I just called this one Pi. What I call it? Oh, Pi Ninja, Pi Nginx, and then .local : 4000, and voila, right? There it is. It just happens to be running on this one. Again, you guys could have done that, right? If you didn't have two machines. If you go to /pets, you can see the pets that are added there, and if you want to just run a curl, you could change this from localhost to obviously whatever your IP is or whatever the name of it is locally for you. You could just pop that right there. So let's do this. Let's let this one finish. I'll leave this one running too, and if this is still going when we get to that point, we'll just point to this one. Okay, so we are here, right? So the last thing we need to do, we're going to need to create an API key on Cloudflare, and then we'll use that API key again. That's going to we'll use that to run this the DNS container and keep Cloudflare up to date. So let's go create a key. We're going to do that on Cloudflare. So you go to your profile, API tokens, and you want to create a token. Want a custom token, and you can give it a name. I'm just going to call this one test because I'm going to delete. Let's just do node backend or something. Not that this has to point just to the node backend. It could be to any number of servers that you want to point your proxy at. All right, so we need to add permissions. We need 3 of them, and we want actually we want zone for all of these. Actually, I'll put it on the Git repo. Cool. All right, pop that over there for now. Cool. So did this finally run? npm notice. Yeah. It's still kind of doing its thing. All right, so that's all you have to do, and then just come down and I think continue to summary and create the token. Please verify your email. So this is a new account. I haven't verified my email. Please verify. They asked nicely too. You think I would have done it? Nice. We're verified. So I don't know if we have to go back through that process or not, or if it's just going to let me. How cool is that? All right. So we'll need that. We'll need that token in a second. We'll come back to it. All right. Now we could do this at the terminal, but let's do it. Let's do it all inside of Portainer. And again, this needs to be running where we have Nginx running, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new stack, and we want to add a stack. And if you come right here, right, here's the code that you need. You're gonna have to find out what your UID and your GID are, and you can just do ID $user for that. So I can pop this in first though. So we can paste that here. And again, this is all on. Let me just minimize this one. Although this one's running now. We should be able to kind of just back up the bus to when we try to run it. See if it runs now. Let's see here. Error. Is already on. Yeah, we have to get rid of the old container. So Docker RM, or you could do it inside of TACF if it were running at the time. I don't know if it is, but all right. So now we should be able to run it. Because actually though, we've got to. We also should have deleted the image first. So that was my bad. All right. So let's again, we can go back to that in a second. All right, now we need the UID and the GID here, so we could do ID $user. And let's see here. It's 1,000 for me. It might be different. Might be different for you. It's 1,000 for both, right? Equals. So 1,000 proxied is true. The website is going to be Raspberry RASPBERRY Pi.training, and that API key is going to be this thing right here. Right here. So we can back up the bus here and pop that in. So here's the cool part. As soon as we do that, right, we can close this up now. Let's come back to just go back to Cloudflare here. We go to Raspberry Pi, and we go to DNS. You're going to notice, right now it's pointing at itself, right? So it's not pointing anywhere yet because we haven't changed that. Now you could go to what's my IP, get your own IP address if it were a static IP, and just put it right here. Right, and now you're good to go. It's not the case with mine. So what we're going to do is we'll as soon as we run that image, right, we create a container from it. It'll update this for me with my public IP here at my house. So let's come back to here, and that's it. We have to give it a name, right? And I'll do. Not really a great idea because that's the name of what it's pointing to as opposed to the proxy server. So let's do demo proxy or something like that, and I think that's it, right? Got my web address, key 1,000, and we could deploy the stack. Failed to deploy. Why? Did I miss something here? Let's see here. I don't think there's anything else I needed, right? Well, just telling me it failed to deploy is not helping me any. How about telling me why? All right, wouldn't that be better? I don't know. I'm just gonna cut that out of there, and let's just come back, and we'll just try to add a stack again. So and we'll paste all of this in, and should not have been anything else. Because well, I don't know. If I was trying to do this on the Pi Zero, that's absolutely why, right? Because I was being a dummy. So I should have been doing that here. I even said that when I went to do it, and for some reason I apparently did not, right? So let's add a stack, and we'll do Nginx test. paste that in. Bonehead, deploy the stack. Absolutely fine. Cool. Nice. I didn't have Docker Compose installed on this one, so I can't use it, right? Bonehead. Okay, so here's the cool part. If we go to if we come here now, we do a refresh, and I'm not going to zoom or anything, so I can leave this the same and blot out most of this. But if I do a refresh, you're going to notice that this should be updated to my local IP now. And just like that, right, it's now my local IP, which is fantastic, right? So very cool. All right, so the couple other things we have to do, and then we're done. And again, we still don't have this running here, do we? So let's do. So if we go to Docker images, right, this one is. Yeah, so let's do Docker, let's see here, RMI, so we're going to remove an image, and the image we want is the node backend. No such image, it's, P. Richardson dev node backend. Response unable to remove attack F. Cool. Right. So we are so Docker RM to remove the container, okay. Okay, so we can we should be able to let's go back up here and build that image again, and let's just, for kicks, call it something else. I'll call it new and let it do its thing. But for now, we can just point at the one that's running. We can point at the one that's running up here. Okay, so what do we need to do? Well, two things, and then we're done. Going to be let's see here, pi nginx local 81. Now to get here, it's example, or is it admin@example.com? I think, and then change me is the default. Nice, cool. And now you can just you can change this to something else. I'm just going to leave it here because I'm going to delete all this when I'm done. But you obviously don't want to leave this as admin. Yeah, they're going to make me change it. Cool. So current password is change me, and then I'll just grab this one. Paste. Cool. Okay, so where are we? Well, we're at the point where, right, the Cloudflare, right, is pointing Raspberry Pi training at, right, my like home IP, right, my public IP. It's coming into, right, Nginx Proxy Manager. So it's coming in here, and now we can proxy it wherever we want. So if we go to hosts, proxy hosts, we can add a proxy host. Right? So the domain, and this could be, you could do subdomains and all kinds of fun stuff here. So it could be, so for now, let's add a domain and a subdomain. So we'll do it's Raspberry, training, and we can also put a subdomain, so www dot training. Right, you could hit enter. All right, and the port that we're going to forward this to is, well, we could just forward it to itself. So we could forward it to the server that we have running on this Pi, since the one running on let's see, where are we at with where are we at with the other one? I don't know what the status here is. All right, let's try to run it. Why not? So we built it, and now let's give it a let's see if we can give it a run here. But we need to change the name. What did I call it? I called it. Did I put a 1 or something? What the heck did I put? New. And it's not going to have the P. Richardson dev in front of it since we just built it. It would if you pulled down that if you pulled that container down. Well, I say that. Let's give it a second. Fantastic, right? So now we actually have that running here on the on our other, and I guess just to just to prove it, we probably should go there, right? And okay, yeah, we're not done here yet. So we could do what? It's Raspberry Pi and 4000, right? Give me a break. Oh, there it is. It's just slow. And again, it's running here on Wi-Fi. And if we go to /pets, voila, there's our pets. Obviously, you could run a curl or use anything that you wanted to post to it too, right? So whatever if you want to use Postman or Thunder Client, you could just post. Basically, I don't do any validation. You could post any JSON object you want to it. All right, that's pretty cool. Now, let's figure out what the IP is of this. So let's go. Actually, you know what? I'm going to just point it at this one because it's going to be so much quicker. So the IP here is. Let's come all the way up here. ETH0. So we are 123, right? So let's point it at this one. Again, we could point at the other one, but on Wi-Fi, it's just a little bit slow. So we're over here. So 192.168.1.12 and 3, right? And the port is 4000. Right? And you could block common exploits and things like that. You can turn on, right? You can create an SSL certificate for free. Whole bunch of things you can do. But I'm just gonna save this. All right, now there's only one other thing that we need to do is we need to expose, right, the Raspberry Pi that Nginx is running on, which is the 123 one, by the way. We need to expose that on our router. So we need to expose 443 and 80 on our router. And depends what you have, right? So for a Linksys, you're going to go to Apps and Gaming, single port forwarding, and you're going to add 2 entries, HTTP, HTTPS, 8080, and your protocol would be both, and then what the IP is that you want to open up, right? So just for completeness, I'm gonna do that here. So and I need to open up. What did we say it was? It is it 123 or something? That's this one here. 123. Cool. And now we can go to, so for me, I'm going to go to Security, Apps and Gaming, Single Port Forwarding, and I'm going to edit. I'm going to make this 123. All right, so we should be able to go to Raspberry Pi.training, and it takes me right here, right? Well, I go /pets. Voila! It takes me here, and I guess we could do this for fun. Let's the other one should be running, right? So let's go to this one. Cool. So this one's now running too. Let's do IP AD. The IP for this is going to be 157, and we can just do a quick. I think, did we do a quick test for that? I think we might have, but do 192.168.1.157. You could put in the name, but this is quicker. Cool. So that's working too. And what we could do is we could point at that. So if we wanted to, right, we could add. Right, so we could go to hosts, proxy hosts. Where's add? Oh, it's right here. So, and this one's going to be 192.168.1.157. And again, that'd point at 4,000. Right? And let's do 0.pi. You could also have dub, 0.raspberry-pi training. And by the way, dub wouldn't work just yet, and I'm going to show you why in a second. Let's do here. Let's do. You got to hit enter. There we go. Let's hit save. All right, so now we'd have to go back, right? So we'd have to come back and create some DNS records for that. So you could, you notice you have a CNAME record already, but you're going to have to edit this one to point at Raspberry Pi training if you want somebody to be able to go to dub, right? So you could do edit, and you could just do add here. And we could add another CNAME, right? So we could say add a record. Right? We want a CNAME record. Right. And that one was 0. Is that what I called it? Right. And I don't know if we could put at here or not. It's fine. Let's see if it works. Yep. So now we have a 0.raspberry Pi training. So that should work fine. That should work fine now too, right? So we should be able to do. Raspberry Pi. Come on. Raspberry Pi training. And if we go to /pets. Voila. Works absolutely fine. Hopefully I edit this to make it a little bit prettier for you folks.